My name is David Lee Jensen, and I want you to know that failure is an option. In retrospective, I find that my life could be defined by the benchmarks of the 10s and the 5s. At 10 years old, I dialed 911 out of desperation to save my mother and I's life from an abusive stepfather. At 20 years old, I dropped out of college with no profession, no skills, and no direction. At 30 years old, my first entrepreneurial adventure, a talent and literary agency, crashed and burned. At 40 years old, I quit my job as president of a $2.5 billion company, leaving 150 loyal employees behind. At 50 years old, on the precipice of my life's purpose, I scheduled my marquee event to help create entrepreneurs for March 26 and 27, 2020, and COVID crushed that, took my life savings and my spirit. All of these milestones were unrecoverable failures, only if I couldn't shift the focus to the highlights in between. At 15 years old, I left home for college. My mom divorced the tyrant and is happily remarried to a wonderful man to this day. At 25 years old, I married my best friend, who remains the love of my life by my side 31 years later. At 35 years old, I landed that six-figure corporate job and grew the company by 10x while raising two incredible sons who were Boy Scouts and artists, and my side hustle was coaching a high school basketball team into a state championship. At 45 years old, I created a #1 best-selling book, traveled the world as a keynote speaker, and launched an online course platform that's still being used by thousands today to help choose the correct people to change the trajectory of their lives. During COVID, I created a $10 million company as a pivot. At 55 years old, well, I'm not so sure yet what that'll be, but I do know that I will create my future and it'll all be all right.